Hello everyone. Normally you all don't expect 2 uploads on this channel on the same day, but there is some very important news we gotta talk about regarding the latest state of the Checkra1n jailbreak tool. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you all about the latest update available now for Macos, along with the possibility of when we could get a tool released for Linux and how it could all work on Windows, and especially how, very important I bring this up later on in this video, I'm going to show you a recording I took with Linux last night. Even though I was supposed to do this video tomorrow, I'm going to have to cancel that upload. But I'm going to show you how I think the Checkra1n tool could possibly work on Linux. So without further ado, let's get into the first update regarding Checkra1n. So officially this morning we got word from Luca Tedesco, aka Courtier IOPZ, tweeted out this information. I usually state the changes and improvements that we made when announcing a release, but this one time we shipped many very important changes and improvements. So check out the changelog before downloading. So he was one of the first people to confirm that 0.9.6 is out. So as you can see here he is. But also, we had somebody else confirm this news. Danny Lewinsky. So let's go to his Twitter feed. And of course, he confirmed this as well. Jamie Bishop. So Jamie Bishop should be around here somewhere. There he is. So he also confirmed this news as well regarding the fantastic news that 3 unsupported devices are now officially supported on Mac OS. So this officially means we have to put the Microsoft Windows 3.1 startup sound for congratulations, because this is huge. I'm sorry if I paused there for a second. I know I'm going to put that in one to share, but this is huge news. There were 3 unsupported devices that were not supported. So now we're going to go right up to the changelog and find this information. So first up, we can confirm we now have support for the iPad 6th generation. So that is very important. Alright, so again, unsupported devices. Now, if we go back to 0.9.5, we will find it here in just a second. iPad Air 2, iPad 5th Gen, iPad Pro 1st generation will now officially be supported. So other changes, once again, I will highlight this. Added support for the iPad 5th generation, iPad Air 2 2nd generation, and the iPad Pro 1st generation. So this is huge. If you have a Mac and if you have these 3 iPads, you can now officially use the Checkra1n tool and jailbreak those devices. So this is a huge day for the jailbreak community. I am honestly shocked. I didn't expect a major update until the Linux tool came out, but this is huge for Mac OS users. Now, unfortunately, because I only have Linux and I only have Windows 10 at the moment, I cannot jailbreak my device. But again, there will be a tutorial when there's an official Windows tool and when there is an official Linux tool. So I'm going to try to work on both. I will definitely have a tutorial on this YouTube channel. So now we're going to get into Nicholas Basson. Now, Nicholas Basson, who is this guy? Well, he is, in fact, one of the major developers for the Checkra1n tool, Pimscas. So here's his handle right here. I'm just quickly checking my phone. And yes, he just tweeted out some important information that I'm going to show you all right now. And we will refresh this. Yes, here we go. Also, iPad Pro 1st Gen. And look at this. Danny Lewinsky, go and make your device great again with the number 1. So that is excellent that the 3 unsupported iPads were not working, but now we got good word regarding that. Do apologize trying to get rid of my notifications here. So now we're going to talk about Linux. So yesterday, Saunders Tech did a video regarding Linux. And big kudos to him for breaking this first. Nino TV tweeted back on Friday. So, Linux release, Windows, don't have any answers there at all. Well, Linux is almost done, while Windows, which is the most complex, will still take some time. How many days? Well, seeing that Linux was almost done a week ago, I'd say at least another 5. So maybe by the end of this week, we could have a Linux tool. I am hoping that is the case. But this is the theory that Pimscos tweeted. He tweeted, it works technically, but needs an adaptation for the general public. Also, we don't have a UI yet, which is a critical problem on the difference between Linux favors in general. So now this is where we get to Rainstorm. So there is a theory also why Rainstorm was released. Not just because we could run the virtual machine with Mac, but also we could have Linux installed and run a terminal in the terminal emulator, which I'll get to in a second. But if you want to install Rainstorm right now, and even if you don't have the VTD option like I do, which I did a separate video regarding that on my Linux, you could run the setup, make sure secure boot is disabled, still have virtualization as an option, and run Linux. And I've tested all the drivers. Linux works 100% fine. So in theory, if we do get a Linux tool, we might actually be able to still jailbreak on Windows. It would just have to be on Linux. So without further ado, let's go to the video I recorded yesterday showing my theory on how evasion worked back in 2013 and how I think the Checkra1n could work now. So back in 2013, evasion, the team behind the evasion tool, the Evaders, released a untethered jailbreak for Mac, Windows, and especially what we're going to talk about, and that is, of course, Linux. Now, this is what the tool would look like on Linux, and we're not going to install it, but you all get the idea. Now, at the time, all the devices that ran iOS 6.0 to 6.1.2 were currently supported, and this dates back to, we can get the date right here, this would date back to sometime again around 2013. So it goes back to 2013, sometime around May or June of that year, and I know this for a fact, but at the time the supported devices were the iPhone 3GS 4, 4S 5, the iPod Touch 4th and 5th generation, the iPad 2, 3, 4, and Mini. So all of those devices were in fact supported at the time. So what we're going to do is look for the tutorial. There was supposed to be a tutorial here, but if not, we'll just go to the YouTube video and look it up here. So we will go to the YouTube video in just a second. So this is how it would work. So in order for this to work, you would have to enter a command. So the command would have to be something like this: sudo add -adt repository ppa. And then you'd have to add sudo apt get update or sudo apt get install evasion.linux. So I'll do an example, and we won't really go into specifics here. I'll just have to delete everything, because if I enter a command prompt right now, and let's say Checkra1n doesn't have it on their website, really wouldn't make any sense here. So for an example, we would have to do this: sudo add -apt repository ppa dot dot noob slab slash evasion. Now, edit that part out, and you would have to put in Checkra1n with an I, or put Checkra1n like this. So pretty simple. This made complete sense back in the day, back in 2013. So the next thing that would have to be done, and this is just an example. This is not a tutorial or anything, but this is how I think the program could work. Then you'd have to add this command, sudo apt-get update. And then you would have to put the last command prompt, which would be sudo apt-get install, and then making sure this is correct. Yeah, there we go. Checkra1n -linux, or this would make more sense, rain with the one, the current one that we currently have, linux. There you go. Now, not necessarily this could be the case here. Now, here's another theory where I think this would be the most logical thing to do it from. Hopefully there might be a run file that we currently have as an example from GitHub and from the current Rainstorm tool. So it would have to be a file with Rainstorm run. So it would have to be Checkra1n run for an example. So if we do get a .run file somewhere on GitHub, or maybe even as an example from the Checkra1n website, this is how Checkra1n would have to do it. They would just have to put it on their website, Checkra1n, so that would be checkra.in, their current URL. Then what would have to be done would be the following command, cd desktop. And then once you enter that, you would have to enter the following command, sudo bash checkra1n.run. So this makes complete sense. I don't know if it makes sense to everybody else here, but I'm sure if everybody else is watching this video, this is, I think, the most logical approach that the Checkra1n team could just do here. Just put this simple command, cd desktop, and then sudo bash checkra1n.run. Now, it can't be necessarily the one. It could just be, for an example, rain. Keep it like that. But I don't think that would be the way that they would have to go with that approach. So that's just my theory here. Now, as far as a release date, Saunders Tech did do a video, and he pretty much explained that if there is no UI that's logically working, then they can't just release a tool. But in theory, the tool could be released right now, but then there would not be a simple tool like we had with the evasion tool. The evasion tool was just so easy to use on Linux that you entered the commands and it just came up like this. So the Checkra1n team is trying to use evasion for an example. When the tool gets released on Linux, makes complete sense. User-friendly interface. The example for Checkra1n, and let's just go to a picture of it. Like if you Google Checkra1n right now, Google Checkra1n, come up, and look what comes up. Not a specific picture. But this is the most specific we can get here. This is what Checkra1n would have to look like. You go down here, and boom. This is what Checkra1n would have to look like. But it would look completely like this if you were running it on Linux. So, there you have it. That's how I think it could work on Linux. I had to record from my Linux last night because I was doing a separate video regarding the same subject. But with this latest development, it couldn't wait. I had to get it up here on this YouTube channel. So stay tuned. Hopefully we will get a Linux tool maybe by the end of this week. But I have theories on when I think it could definitely be released. So today's only December 1st. Hanukkah starts on December 22nd. So it's a possibility that maybe we could get the Checkra1n tool on the first night of Hanukkah. Wishful thinking. But Christmas is in 25 days. Maybe that's when we could get Checkra1n. Or potentially December 31st or January 1st on Linux. But it could come as soon as possible. That's what we're all hoping for. So again, please stay tuned to this channel. When we get updates from Checkra1n, we'll hopefully get an idea of what's going on here. Maybe we'll get more tips from Saunders. Hopefully he'll keep us posted as well. But until the next one, thank you all for watching and take care.